the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance.
Hey, it's Nate, and today I am doing The Rose by Bette Midler. Beautiful, beautiful song. I'll start out by teaching you the simple chords that can quickly get you up and running by following along with the chords and lyrics sheet. Then I'll go through and teach the full piano part, which is a bit complicated, but you can pick and choose which details you want to include. So it's really choose your own adventure. Let's jump in. Okay, so first off, I recommend you get that chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description, and that's going to help you follow along and see where the chords and the lyrics line up with each other. Like I said, I will start off with a very easy chord version, but even if you're going to do the full piano part, it's good to get on the same page here about the underlying chords and pacing of the progression. This song is in the key of C major, so all white keys, which is very convenient, and this is middle C, so you know what octave you're playing. Here's the chords for the verses, and this song is just 3 verses in a row. There's no choruses or anything, so learn this, you know the whole thing. We need a C major chord, C, E, G, and then an octave lower with my first finger. I'm just gonna play a C bass note. We also need a G major chord, same shape. I'm using my 4th finger here, G, B, D, and then an F major chord, same shape again, F, A, C, using my 5th finger there for the bass note. Now, we're in 4/4 time, so each of these measures gets 4 counts. Most chords just last a full measure, but we do have those measures that have the F and the 2 dashes, then the G. The 2 dashes are additional counts of F, so that has 3 counts of F, and then on beat 4 of that measure, we hit the G chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, stepping back up to C. And let's start playing through it a little bit. I'm gonna just do simple quarter note chords in the right hand, just playing on every count. So we've got C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Let's keep going, and I'm singing an octave lower, by the way, but this is the original key. So we also need an E minor chord. I'm gonna come up here, just same shape again, E, G, and B. I'm just moving my hand, putting my first finger up there, and then we also need this A minor. Again, same shape, A, C, E, doing A bass note there, and you're gonna have to kind of just hop your hand around a little bit for the bass notes. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. You can kind of slow down and let that ring out there. I say love, it is a flower, and you, its only seed. So this is just like the first 2 lines, except for there's an extra measure of C before we would go on to the next verse. And you could do your whole cover like that. I would just suggest you ride the dynamics of the song a little bit, starting quiet or maybe even up the octave and then building, getting more intense as the song goes on. Okay, now I'm gonna take you through the full piano part verse by verse. There's a lot of variation between the verses and in the chord voicings with suspended chords and sixths, but the chord charts will just show the simple underlying chords. Otherwise, it just looks like a big mess. Final thing I'll say here, you can ignore whichever details you want to make your ideal version. If you want to take your time to learn the second verse part and then just play the third verse the same way, go for it. Okay, so we'll start out actually with the intro, which is just 2 measures of C, but we've stripped it down to not include the third. We're just doing the fifths up here with treble C here and then the G above that. And we're just pulsing on quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, Some say love. So here's the first verse starting. So those are the chords for that. And we're going to just keep doing these simple 2-note shells of the chords. So more of this C. Love, it is a river. All we got to do to get to this G is drop that first finger down to a B. It's an inversion of just the root and third of the G major chord. River that drowns. So just stepping that shape, that 6th down, drowns the tender reed, back to the C fifths. Some say love, and then this line's going to be the same. It is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love. This E minor is very deconstructed. It's like an E minor 6 implied here. The only difference between the C chord and that is we're going to add this B. So you probably want to use your 2nd finger on the C. Love, it is a hunger. To get to this A minor, you're just going to drop that thumb one more time to an A. So it's a A minor 7 here. Is a hunger. And so for this F, we're just dropping that G down to an F. It's just an inversion on that F triad. An endless aching need. So this measure of G here, we actually stay on that F shape for the first half of it and do with the left hand a G up here in the same zone for need to. And then just for the second half, we're dropping down an octave for the bass note, and we're taking both of these notes down to G and B. So we got a G7 there. I say love, back to the simple C fifths. It is a flower, doing what we did in the first line. And you, it's only, so on that G there, just on that 4th count, we're going to just do G and B, and we just hold it. It's only seed. So here is this pattern that's going to come up a lot. So we're down now to root position, C major chord on middle C. And we're doing this rocking 8th note pattern. So we're dividing the beat in half, thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're gonna rock back and forth between the top 2 notes and the bottom note, the C. And first you do the E and G that are part of the chord, and actually the first thing you rock to is the D, the second with the 2nd finger there. 1 and 2 and then you just do the same thing again. 3 and 4 and for the first measure we're just doing the bass C, single bass note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then on this and we're gonna hit the G, the 5th of the chord, with our 2nd finger, and then we're gonna hit octaves. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and of course you could just do the lower bass note if you can't make the octave stretch. Before we get to the 2nd verse, let me just play that whole first verse through one more time, skipping the intro. So 1, 2, 3. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed.
It's the heart.
So now we're in the second verse. Here's the chords for that. Same thing again. So we're going to go through the second verse, and it's a lot of that pattern that we learned, but we're going to apply it to some of the other chords. So we've got heart, afraid of. We're just going to come down to that root position, G, and do the exact same thing. Breaking, that never on F, same thing. Except they only do the sus2 there the first time. Then just another of the A and C. Learns to, so just the regular G triad there for the one rock you get. To dance. It's the dream, afraid of waking. That never. Incidentally, they do all three notes on the top hit there on the last time on the F there. You can ignore that if you want. Takes the chance. It's the one. This E minor is one of the trickier moments. It's actually an E minor over B. We're going to do a B bass note there with the octaves. And at first, the pattern looks just like the C one, except we're going to go all the way down to this G. That's what we hear on the recording. If that stretch is tripping you up, you could totally hit a B, and it'll still sound good, like the E minor chord. It's the one who won't be taken. So for the A minor, you can keep your fingers right where they were, but do all three of the notes, the D, E, and G, and just rock back and forth with C. Happily, it's just the same thing, the whole measure in the right hand, but I did do this little passing jump down to E up to A there for the left hand, and that's on the and after 4. And 1, and 2, and 3, and it does step down to G bass notes there on the last beat of the A measure. Who can... We're going to take that same shape that we just did, again rocking with the top 3 notes up to like a F position, but up higher here, and I'm coming down to these F octaves. Never learns to give. So for the G, we just move that shape up again. But here it pulls back, and I'm just going to do a single bass note there with my 4th finger. To give. You kind of slow down there and don't do the 4 and, just stop on after beat 3. And the soul, we're back to the same old pattern, but with single bass notes. Afraid of dying. Same thing. That never learns to live. Okay, so this part's tricky and skippable, but it's a cool little rhythm. We need 16th notes, so we're dividing the beat again, thinking 1 E and a 2 E and a. And while we've hit the single F bass note at the start of that measure, we're gonna hit the E after 3. You'll know you're getting the rhythm right if it's in between the right hand hits. And then learns to, so just stepping up to the G triad with the octaves, learns to live. So here we're kind of getting into that heavy verse 3 energy, where we're doing really full voicings of the chords here. So doing the full C triad with the low G here. If that's too much of a stretch, I would just omit the top note and do that. I think that still sounds really good. So on the final 16th note of that measure, with your second finger, you can throw that G in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3. Before we do the third verse, I will play through all of that for the second verse. 1, 2, 3. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. And then we are in verse 3. Here are the chords for that. It starts off just the same way as the other two verses. When the night has been too lonely. Once again on the last possible 16th note before we hit the G. Once again, we're doing this really kind of tough full voicing here where we do the B, D, and G here and rock back and forth with the G. And again, if you want to just simplify it down like that, you can. Too lonely, and the road has been too long. So notice that throughout this, we're not doing the suspended notes. We're just doing the chord. We stepped down and did the same shape on the F. I did throw in a little bit of extra bass hit there on the road. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and long. And you think, so once again you can do that little G there leading back into that. That time is just on the and after 4. It's not a 16th note. And you think that love is only, so same thing there, for the lucky 2 and 3 E and, so same thing again, and the strong. Just remember. So we're going to pull back here, go to single bass notes on this E, and we're doing rocking back and forth with the B and then D, E, and G. Just remember in the winter. So these fingers can stay right where they are, and you go to the A bass note, and then we're rocking back and forth with C. And this time it sounds like they omit the top G. So just nice and simple, strip back for that. Winter, 3 and far beneath. So coming up here, this is going to be the same F voicing we did before, but we're coming up an octave with the single bass note. I'm moving my whole hand and putting my first finger there. Far beneath the bitter snow. So just stepping that shape up, same way we did before, again with the higher bass notes. And we do 1 and 2 and 3 and kind of let it hang. Lies the seed. So when we get to this C, we're going to do the same thing we had been doing in the second verse, except for everything is an octave higher. Seed there with the sun's love in the spring. On the last rock on the F, we're going to do all 3 notes. B comes, and all 3 notes on the G here again. Comes the rose. So these are the final moments, and unlike the other 2 verses, we've got 4 measures of C here. We're going to do the pattern as we know it. but we're just gonna stop on beat 4 each measure with the top 2 notes there. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so just go down to that G on the and after 4, and then again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So on that last measure of C, we're just going to hit one chord, and it's a new inversion of C for this song. It's going to be E, G with second finger, and C here. Sounds like on the recording they just let the bass note be that G. If that feels ungrounded to you, you could do fifths and include the bass C. But I'm just going to end on the G there, and then the song is over. Let me do a full sing through of that third verse. 1, 2, 3. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the sea that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to play everything all together so you can see how it all flows. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos just like this one. And just a reminder, so there's no confusion, I am singing this an octave lower because it fits my voice better, but it is the original key, and if you can sing it in her register, go for it. Okay, here's my version of The Rose. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be
and the soul afraid of dying that never learned to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the seed that